Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into the HIVE storyline from Destiny 1, but before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the Sith Citadel Discord. The link is in the description. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. So to recap where the last video left off, years later, the discovery of the hidden swarm stirring beneath the Skywatch at Old Russia was made by newly risen Guardian investigating the House of Devils. Pursuing the recent resurgence of HIVE activity on Earth, said Guardian was sent to investigate the whereabouts of a missing scout near the Hellmouth on the moon. What they found confirmed that the HIVE within the Temple of Crota was preparing for a second invasion of Earth, this time also attacking the Traveler directly in a ritual to slowly drain its light using one of its broken shards. Despite the HIVE's efforts, the ritual was thwarted, but the threat of the HIVE remained, one that would be addressed by the former Lightbearer Eris Morn. Crota's spawn would play a major role when his consort Omnigul left the Hellmouth to lead the HIVE in their impending invasion of Earth, with a plot to disable Rasputin's Warsat defenses. In retaliation, Eris Morn called upon allies who heeded her warnings in dismantling Crota's army, and to prevent Crota's imminent return. The Guardians slew Crota's disciples, including the Swarm Princes and their commander Sardon, leaving the HIVE army in disarray, and thwarted Omnigul's attempt to sabotage Rasputin. To ensure Crota does not re-enter the material world to lead the army himself, Eris guided the Guardians of the Moon, where the HIVE attempted a ritual summoning Crota back from his throne world. The crystal tethering his soul in the Chamber of Night would be sent back to his throne world, banishing him from the physical world, and thereby preventing his corporeal return. His general and acting will, Omnigul, was later slain by Guardians who traced her back to Skywatch. Crota's end would be met by the Guardian leading a fire team of 6 to raid the Oversoul throne. Entered from the deepest pit of the Hellmouth, the Guardians would summon Crota from his crystal to engage at his own throne world. When conventional means failed before the Hope Eater, the Guardians turned Crota's own sword logic against him, with the cleavers of his fallen blades, permanently killing him. This would mark the HIVE's first true defeat, the loss of one of their gods, and the race's heir to the Osmium throne. The exact nature of Oryx was once unknown to the Guardians, but the name Oryx appeared often enough in HIVE rituals that it could not be ignored. Shrines dedicated to Oryx, used by the HIVE to communicate with Oryx across the universe, were known to exist throughout the solar system. Osiris studied the HIVE extensively and foretold that the spawn of Crota would one day pave the way for Oryx's coming by snuffing out the worlds of light. Members of the Blood of Oryx HIVE sect are thought to be the direct servants of Oryx himself, though it is speculated that he is the master of all other HIVE sects as well. After learning of the death of his son, Crota, Oryx personally traveled to the solar system aboard his dreadnought, accompanied by a HIVE fleet and his taken army. They were met with opposition by Queen Marasov and her reef-born awoken Armarads at the Battle of Saturn, which ended in a Pyrrhic victory for the king, who wiped out the queen's forces with his dreadnought's superweapon. With his fleet decimated after the battle, Oryx's taken forces attacked Cabal bases on Phobos and Mars to rebuild his numbers and regain his advantage. Cabal detachments were devastated within hours, with the Sand Eaters suffering a catastrophic 58% casualties, while the Blind Legion and the Dust Giants lost 35 and 39% of their numbers respectively. The Vanguard discovered Oryx's presence after sending a Guardian to Phobos to investigate a Cabal distress signal, by which time the Taken Covens began appearing on multiple worlds, ushering in the Taken War. Oryx was nearly beaten when the Guardian breached his sanctum and attacked him, but like all HIVE gods, this was only a temporary setback. Using his Taken powers, he escaped into the Ascendant realm to recuperate from his injuries. Meanwhile, his Taken, led by his echoes, continued to harass the system. Once the blights had been removed, the Guardians turned their powers and attention on Oryx and his champions. By overthrowing the court of Oryx and killing his minions, they were able to breach deeper into the Dreadnought. After his closest allies, the War Priest and Golgoroth, including his own daughters, were killed, Oryx returns to fight the Guardian once more, this time as a gigantic version of his physical body. Here, he attempted to pull the Guardian raid team into the darkness multiple times, take them, but they were able to use Oryx's own captured light against him. By slaying his Light Eater ogres and knights, and then detonating the light they left behind to wound him, the Guardians were able to strike at the God King's heart directly, slaying Oryx for good. Though the God King of the Hive was slain, the Taken War did not end with his death. Hive and Taken forces remained at large in the solar system, that the Guardians maintained steadfast vigilance against. A great many Hive and Taken champions were hunted down and destroyed before they could infest the system any further. Since the Guardians refused to take Oryx's place as the next Taken King, various powerful Hive and Taken entities arose in a bid to claim the Osmium throne for their own. Chief among the contenders for the throne were Alakul the Darkblade, a powerful Hive warrior Oryx imprisoned for an earlier usurpation, and Malok the Pride of Oryx, a former scion of Savathun taken by Oryx. Before Alakul could break out of his shadowed cell, Eris Morn called upon the Guardians to break into the prison section of the Dreadnought, not only to remove the potential candidate for the throne, but also avenge her fallen comrades who fell to Alakul. Fighting to Alakul's cell at the Hanging Crypts, the Guardians battle with the Darkblade within his own black cell, but after a tense battle, they succeed in striking him down. Sometime later, Malok enacted his own campaign to seize Oryx's throne, using his mastery of the Blights to further his goals and possibly launch an all-out assault on the last city to prove his claim. However, word of his activities caught the attention of Varix, who relayed his findings to Eris Morn. Calling upon the Guardians once more, they managed to drive Malok out of the Dreadnought, forcing the Hive Prince to retreat to the Hellmouth of the Moon. Tracking Moloch, the Guardians fight past his Taken forces and persevere against the Blights, before reaching at the sign of Oryx, where Malok makes his final stand. Despite his mastery over the Blights, Malok failed against the Guardians. Alakul and Malok's death would leave the Osmium throne remaining vacant and mark the official end to the Taken War. The worst case scenario, the Splicers aren't in territorial war with the Hive, they're experimenting on them, as said from the Ghost in the Siva Crisis. Following a year after the Taken War and the death of their God King, the Hive on Earth still appear to be organized but hunkered down in their nests, and have recently gone into conflict with the Siva-augmented fallen Devil Splicers in the Plague Lands. Soon enough, the ambitions of the Splicers, led by Kovik Splicer Priest, extended to experiment on not only themselves, but the Hive as well. Whether to control them as a slave army or to weaponize their mysterious biology. Furious, the Hive began an all-out war with the Splicers, though the efforts of the Guardians, not out of pity, the Fallen's efforts to control or weaponize the Hive were thwarted and Kovik was killed. So what did you guys think of the Hive from Destiny 1? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.